Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi. My name is Yolanda Melody. This video is gonna be crazy. As you can tell from the title, I'm gonna be talking about my experience when I had an ego death. In last week's video, I was talking about what the ego actually is in the terms of spirituality. And sorry for leaving you guys on a cliffhanger last week, but this experience deserved its own video. For anyone that wants to understand more about the ego before getting into this, I'd highly recommend to watch the video linked down below and then come back to this one. So, a few years ago, I got heavily into the New Age movement. I was watching so many different spiritual teachers, and I came across this one guy. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to get sued. If you watch a lot of spirituality videos, you've probably came across this person. So, he did very deep, very introspective videos. I came across his one video titled How to Have an Ego Death. And for anyone who chose not to watch the previous video, your ego is your sense of self. In a nutshell, a lot of people in the spiritual community believe that you can reach higher states of consciousness. They profess that you can have this eternal sense of peace, tranquility, euphoria, but the only problem is your ego. So basically, your identity is the problem. At the time that I was researching about this, I was in a very dark place. I was very lost, I was very lonely, and like most people on their spiritual journey, I was looking for answers. I was looking for relief from the pain that I was experiencing within myself. This whole idea of reaching a higher state of consciousness and enlightenment, it seemed like a hack. It was professed as if this was undercover knowledge that excused you from all of the suffering that happens in life. Obviously, to a person who is lonely, this sounds very appealing. And when people are in a state of vulnerability, it opens them up to manipulation. There was a lot of things that this guy was saying in his videos that on the surface felt very wrong and triggering, but because I was so desperate to reach this higher state of consciousness, I would always point the blame at myself as opposed to the guy in the video. There were so many times where I thought to myself, oh, I'm getting triggered because that's my ego talking. That's my ego trying to control me. Now, if you watched my video last week, you'd know that I walked you guys through this very, very short exercise, if you will, that I believe gives you this new perspective about what the ego actually is. And I kept it short for a reason, because while I do feel like it's good to open your mind up to the concept that you have an ego and a soul, I don't believe that it is a good idea to try and live your life without an ego. The guy that I was watching on YouTube at the time had a series of videos that went very, very deep into the subject, but he had already planted the seed that the ego was bad. So I already had the intention to get rid of my ego for good. Somewhere along the line, I was watching a 40-minute video that this guy had posted. I was practicing meditation on a daily basis as well, so this helped me get into a transcendental state. And suddenly, I felt like I was experiencing this state of oneness, and something had just changed within my mind. Like I'd pushed myself that much through meditation. I wanted to get rid of the ego so badly, and suddenly I just experienced this wave of euphoria. It was like I finally got it. I was euphoric because I'd felt like I'd opened my mind up and I'd achieved this sense of connectedness and enlightenment. And the thing is, in order to achieve this sense of euphoria, you also feel empty and as if you don't have an identity anymore. But because I was experiencing so much distress within my ego, I didn't care. I wanted to feel this enlightenment feeling. It gave me such euphoria and so much peace. But it didn't last for long, which is a good thing, but I started to act very, very strange. Now, when I say that I started to act strange, I didn't realise that I was acting strange at the time. right? I watched the video whilst I was at home, but I had work the next day. I really desperately wanted to keep this state of mind going, and it was quite difficult, to be honest. It kind of made me feel like I didn't want to talk to people in case I lost the feeling. And remember, I felt disconnected from my own identity. I'd suddenly lost interest in everything that I had interest in before, other than spirituality. I was only interested in things that I believed were pure good. It was like I was trying to constantly embody this feeling of love. I went into work, I spoke to one of my colleagues, who incidentally is a Jehovah's Witness. And I said to her that I felt so much peace. I felt like I could instantly forgive all of the bad things that people have done towards me. It was like it didn't affect me anymore. I felt like I was in a constant meditative state. I was really calm. I was really almost delirious. In the workplace, this kind of mental state did not wash well. I wasn't acting like me anymore. People instantly noticed there was a change within me, and I had an incident where my boss actually walked me to his office, and he was so shaken up by the way that I was acting, and he just turned to me and was like, I don't know what's going on with you right now, but you're scaring me. And another manager earlier on in that day asked me if I was on drugs, and I must admit that triggered something in me. I was like, how can people be so negative and so hateful? Like, I'm having a spiritual experience and they're trying to kill my vibe. Everyone that was around me during this time was genuinely concerned, except for my friend that was a Jehovah's Witness. She thought that that was completely normal. But, like I say, it didn't last long. I think it lasted a few days before something happened that shook me back into my regular personality. All that euphoria that I felt for those few days, I felt like I compensated for that by having the biggest meltdown afterwards. And looking back, I can see how what I'd experienced was actually brainwashing. When you think about manipulation used by narcissists or cult leaders, one of the first steps is to remove as much of the victim's identity as they can. I've experienced this type of manipulation in relationships and through this experience. And I've also done a hell of a lot of research since. The concept of an ego death is not unique to just the New Age movement. It's also used in religion, but it's repackaged and delivered to you in a different way. In Christianity, for example, they're constantly reinforcing that all of your earthly desires are bad. Have you ever heard someone turn around and say, I am born again through Jesus? This is essentially an ego death, but the Christian version. Now, I'm just going to put a disclaimer out here. I believe that the spiritual journey is a personal thing. I do believe in God. A lot of people have mistaken me for a Christian before, but I wouldn't really say I fit into any box when it comes to spiritual beliefs. I believe that you can find truth in any religion, but I believe that you can also misinterpret religion, and when it's put into the wrong hands, it can be used as a manipulative tool. And this is what I'm saying. Your spiritual journey is unique. Your relationship with God should just be with God. You don't need to go through a spiritually enlightened person. You don't need to prey upon a guru. You can access this yourself. Cut out the middleman. And I know that it's ironic because I talk about spirituality on my channel, but I'm not looking to come across as some kind of savior. I'm just giving you guys my experience and you can take with that what you will. I have become very, very interested in learning about cult indoctrination. So if you guys want me to do a whole video about it, let me know. But anyway, what I really want you guys to understand in this video is that the ego is there for a reason. If it's so bad, then why is it so natural? Our ego is not supposed to be destroyed. And I think anyone who tells you that you need to do that, I would beware of their teachings. It's great to have an open mind. I'm always saying to people that having an open mind will broaden your knowledge so much, but we need to stay grounded at the same time. You know? So anyway, this ring light is absolutely destroying my eyes, so I'm gonna end this video now. I hope you enjoyed my spooky story, and as usual, I'll be back next week. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop it a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Love you, bye!